Hi everybody, welcome to the morning routine. Happy Tuesday, December the 10th. And yes, I have a guest here with me, and yes, I'll talk about that in a minute. But first I want to talk about being back and happy and back. And I have one headline, count them, one. See this, Eamon? One headline, just one for you today. Ready? Here we go. Starbucks CEO thinks the 30-second rule is the key to success. Now, he's a new CEO to Starbucks, by the way. And science agrees. Yes, if your drink order at Starbucks takes longer than 30 seconds, you should not be ordering coffee anywhere. A coffee order is, can I get coffee, cream, or sugar? That's it. All this macchiato, blah, 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 blah stuff, skinny, slim, tall, fancy, not fancy, caramel, no caramel, knock it off. Go somewhere else.
You look like a guy that would get 10 things.
I do look like a guy that would make one of those really fancy, goofy orders, but I am not.
I am.
Oh, there's a guy in the back that says he is. No. Yeah, I don't know what his 30-second rule is. I think it has to do with the delivery of creating the coffee and stuff. Sometimes they make them and it takes a really long time, but then that goes back to placing the order. So keep the order short and sweet. Folks, you're there for coffee. Get some coffee. Coffee is good. Just coffee, cream, 100% tasty. All right, moving on to our guest, which is
Eamon.
Eamon. Yeah. Eamon. Obviously, you know from program, and some of you know from our podcast.
Amen.
Yes, David, you tell him who you are.
The name of the podcast is?
Amen.
David.
The Christmas Tales of Hollow Hill.
The Tales of Hollow Hills, yes. Eamon is our beautiful narrator of those, and he's been doing a fabulous job, so I thought we'd just ask him some questions about how's it going.
Well, this whole podcast has been a pretty interesting thing for me. At first, I was a bit hesitant, but once I got into the rhythm of things, I certainly seem to... What's the fancy word for it?
I like fancy words.
Express my talent for this position.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that, so we're in the middle of season 2, which is our second season. Season 2 is our second season. Woo! What a revelation.
Yes.
Season 2, so we're just getting into this. Each season's been about 10 episodes. We're halfway through recording, roughly, season 2, which is the Christmas one. And yeah, Eamon's been doing great. In the beginning, he's just kind of rattling it off, but you can hear it in the current episodes that he's definitely developing more and more skill around it. So what do you find the most challenging about doing this?
There's always that one word that I end up fumbling over, or something that seems a little too strange, so then I end up mixing up some of the words, or I end up stuttering or hesitating on some of the stuff. Yeah. But again, I'm getting the hang of it. Mm-hmm. It's all just a matter of time before I actually really get into the hang of it. But at the same time, I feel like it just comes naturally for me, you know?
I would say so. Yeah, because we tested a few folks, and Eamon's voice just came right through, inflection and what he's saying, emotion and when he's reading and whatnot, and it just sounds really good. It sounds like he's been doing it for a while, and that first try, knocked it out of the park, and here we are, continuing to knock it out of the park. What do you want to do more of? You do some voices in there. What other kind of things do you like to do with it?
I like to experiment with the voices, the tones, the expressions and the emotions, so that I can really act as if I was there in that story. Like if you were in your own little world and you imagine yourself in there, and you'd act just as how characters act in a book or a show or a movie.
Yeah. And do you find yourself kind of getting lost in the stories now? Do you enjoy the stories?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
they're pretty creative, which is probably how I've been so creative.
Yeah, yeah. So the story lends itself. If the story was kind of blah and it's kind of flat, wouldn't be as interesting to you. Harder to, create some energy around it and stuff. But because the stories have some vibrance and some life to them, you find it easier to. Is that what you're saying?
Indeed, which is also why it's easier to express my my many voices in terms of characters in those stories.
Yeah, you do a fantastic job. If you haven't listened, you got to check it out because Eamon will, come up with a character's voice on the fly in the reading, and then he'll maintain that voice throughout the story. So even if it's a young kid, a woman, we haven't heard you do a dog voice yet. We'll have to get a dog in there. Yeah.
Bats.
Yeah. So, bats. Yeah, that's right. So that's pretty cool. What is this something that you think you want to continue with?
Yeah, I think this is something that calls to me.
Yeah.
It's something I pretty much enjoy.
Have you ever thought about maybe doing some like voice acting lessons or anything like that?
I never thought of it, but now that you mentioned it, it could be a possibility that I could consider.
Yeah. I think that there are a lot of folks out there that do for Hollywood and stuff like that. That's what they do. They're just voice actors. And they do like different cartoons and all kinds of stuff. And so there's coaches out there and teachers for voice acting, just voice acting. Yeah, it's a real thing. Huh. Interesting. We should look into that. I'll help you look into that.
Probably should.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So so the storyline is it's this fictitious town called Hollow Hills, and it's got all these crazy legends about it, all these creepy legends, and they're all kind of creepy stories. And the first season was Halloween, and it was pretty creepy. This one's Christmas, and it's got like creepy with a Christmas flair to it, a little bit positive ending sometimes. How are you liking that part?
It is a tale as dark as my very soul. Just kidding. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's got all these interesting stories and characters, and you can really get a feel into each of the different perspectives in each of the stories. So in each episode, there's always something that's a bit off about the said town, and every one of those scenarios either ends up in a horrific death or something at least bright to look after.
Yeah. Now we got some consistent characters now. Holly's Diner. She's gonna be around for a while, and we have more seasons to come. So after Christmas, there's gonna be a spring season, then a summer season, and then we'll be back to October and December, and it's kind of how we're gonna roll with it.
It certainly would seem like paradise at this point.
Paradise to keep it going. Cool. And you're adjusting to like working with the mic, and Tarina, she really is the producer of it. She gives you a good direction and keeps you in line. Yeah, she's a good director too.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Yeah. What could she improve upon? So she's right behind the camera.
Her sense of humor.
Oh. Good. All right, we'll work on that. We'll work on Tarina's. We'll work on Tarina's sense of humor. Just to be clear, I think Tarina has a pretty good sense of humor, but yeah, cool. All right, well, I'm glad you're doing it. I think your voice is outstanding. I think it's a lot of fun. I think this thing is going to be pretty cool in the long term, so I'm looking forward to more of the stories. How about you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of those stories too.
Yeah, cool. All right, should we get on with the show?
Yeah, also shout out to my friends and family over here. Hey, if you know, you know. What's up, everyone?
Very good. All right, so we did our headlines. We talked to Eamon. Now we've got to go back into the bearded past with Zach.
Hey, everybody. Man, can't believe it. It's December 10th. December 10th, you guys. It's It's exciting, actually. It is fun. I mean, this end of the year stuff's always exciting in some way, and you got the new year coming around the corner. But let's start by going back in the bearded past with Zach. And so today, December 10th in history, 1864, American Civil War. Hey, go figure, right? Huh? Zach must like the Civil War or something. Sherman's March to the Sea. Major General William Tecumseh Sherman's Army troops reached the outer Confederate defenses of Savannah, Georgia. The importance of this, and I've probably discussed this before as well, the importance of this event was to make the Confederate troops who were fighting elsewhere start to worry about their homes, their farms, and things like that. So basically, going after the will of the people. And this was the way they went about it. The battle over there in Savannah, Georgia, was thoroughly roughed up, you guys. Also on this day in history, you had so in 1898, you had the Spanish-American War, the Treaty of Paris signed. It ended the conflict with Spain. So Spain ceded administration of Cuba to the United States, and the United States agreed to pay Spain $20 million for the Philippines. So we then colonized the Philippines, and we had Navy bases there and Army bases there for quite some time. I mean, all the way up through World War II. Also on this day in history, 1906, U.S. President Teddy Roosevelt, he is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his role in the mediation of the Russo-Japanese War, becoming the first American to win the Nobel Prize in any field. That's not, being the first American doesn't amaze me as much, because you got to remember, in 1906, this country's only a little over 100 years old. So that's not surprising. But I did not know he was the mediator of the Russo-Japanese War. Just so you guys understand, that actually put Japan on the map as a world power. That was a huge, huge victory for them. And it really deemed their coming into the new age of industry and technology and things like that. I do know, though, that the last but not least for today's history, though, is we are going to start with British Prime Minister Winston Churchill receives the Nobel Prize in Literature. Very surprising, actually, very interesting. He's the one that held together Britain during World War II, and to see him come out with a Nobel Prize in Literature is pretty amazing. He's a neat guy, interesting guy, and he's definitely a politician, but at the same time, definitely worth reading. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the history today, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.
All right, thank you very much for that, Zach. Appreciate it as always. Next up, we have Gabrielle continuing the wonderful tradition of the National Day right here.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, the 10th. That means we're a third of the way done with the month. Wow. I know. So today had only a couple days, and one of them didn't appeal to me at all. So we're going to go with this one. It's National Logger Day. Not a logger who, logs wood, logger, lumberjack. No, it's lager. It's a type of a beer. Actually, it's the third most popular type of beer. And I did a little research. It's not my favorite. We all have a favorite. If you may not have one either. But what they say it is it's fermented in the cold brewing way. So it's all cold fermented. So it means it comes through the bottom of the beer. I don't know, a bunch of scientific whatever about it, but it's a lager. So lagers are a little bit crisper beers. I think Budweiser's a lager. Well, that would be a good reason not to like it, but sorry about anybody out there that them or their family prefers that as a beer. But Germany, there's a lot of lagers. Austria, and that's where a lot of those people that came, Anheuser-Busch, Yeah, it's probably Austrian kind of there when they came over eons ago to the United States. So if you're into, having a beer and you want to celebrate the National Day, that's what it would be. It would be National Lager Day. Remember, the beer, not the logs.
All right, National Lager Day. I was thinking more of the, like the truck driver logger, the guy that chops down the trees and stuff like that. That's when someone says lager, that's what I think of. I don't think of the lager beer necessarily, but okay, hey, National that day. All right, next up we have question of the day right here.
Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
Oh, well.
Could be anything, just a nasty food that you usually see on Christmas. It's gross to you.
Fruitcake.
You don't like fruitcake?
No, fruitcake.
Have you ever had it?
No.
No. Does it look just gross to you?
Yeah.
What Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
Fruitcake.
Fruitcake? Yeah. Have you ever had it?
Huh?
Have you ever had it?
No.
No.
I think it's gross.
It just looks gross?
Yeah.
What Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
I would say fruitcake.
What Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
Honestly, I don't think any of them are gross.
You like all of them?
Yes.
What Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
Oh man. There's a lot of food that I usually don't try, but Jesus!
Fruitcake.
Fruitcake?
Do you like fruitcake?
I haven't had it. But don't knock it until you try it.
I seen
But-
you eating a whole loaf earlier. What are you talking about?
But what's worse than fruitcake is some stupid meatloaf.
Oh, I got both of you guys. All right. Let me back up really quick. Which Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
Gross?
Yeah, Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
That would be, you say food, right?
Yeah.
That would be, for me, it would be fruitcake.
Fruitcake? How about you, Gary?
I didn't even think fruitcake.
Come on, Gary!
But honestly, some fruitcake's really good.
So what is
Oh,
it,
man.
Gary? What is it?
Christmas themed food? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not hugely into candy canes. Okay?
What?
Not hugely. I
You
used
heard
to
it
like
here.
them.
Candy
Used to like
cane
them.
hater.
As an adult, not as much.
Who's a candy cane hater? What?
Gary, you're making
I'll take
enemies here.
I'll take a cinnamon flavored candy cane.
Okay, I'll let that slide.
All right, Nathaniel. What Christmas themed food do you think is gross?
I don't really know.
You don't really know?
I don't eat much Christmas foods. I think I did hear that. I did hear that fruitcake was pretty gross.
What Christmas themed food do you think is gross? Well, it kind of depends for me. Eamon's thinking, we'll get to his answer in a second. For me, if it's like some people will put Brussels sprouts on the table no matter what the dinner is, and that's gross. Some people will put asparagus on the table no matter what holiday it is. That's gross. But traditional Christmas foods, I don't really have one that's gross, honestly. It's really more of I just don't like that much. Cranberry out of a can, I prefer a regular, a real cranberry sauce. And then some people will put the sweet pickles, the little sweet pickles on as hors d'oeuvres or as whatnot. And I'm not a fan of the sweet pickles, but how about you, Eamon? What is a gross Christmas food, holiday food?
Can't really say since I haven't had much. I'm kind of a picky eater when it comes to stuff like that.
Okay, so
but if I were to really dive deep into all of that, it's the worst thing about it is to mix foods with other foods. Like
Oh,
I enjoy cookies, like Christmas cookies, but the one thing I never do is mix them with other kinds of foods, like asparagus or mint or candy canes. Those things are minty. I'm not sure if anyone agrees with me, but they're kind of too minty to eat.
Oh,
at least for me.
Yeah.
So sorry if I offended any of you candy cane lovers out there. So
I think they'll be okay. Yeah, sometimes, you mix certain foods together, it really doesn't work out. I tend to, like certain foods, it's like I don't even want them to touch, but some foods I'm like, let's mix those together a little bit more. It's kind of weird like that, I guess. But, all right, we will move right along to the Did You Know This?
Did you know Santa wore blue, green, and red in his past? His traditional red suit came from the 1930s, had by Coca-Cola. Yeah, that's pretty cool, because Coca-Cola is red, you know.
Blue, green, and red. Santa in blue, green, and red. I get the green. The blue one is a bit tough for me. I would struggle to see Santa in blue, but I totally get it. Coca-Cola making Santa suit red, but blue would be tough. Like I said, look at these guys right here. You can kind of see Santa wearing an outfit that's mostly green, but blue would be a tough one for me.
I think back then it was probably to represent either the sea or ice. I don't know. I guess there had to be some kind of symbolism there.
And I'd want to know which type of blue. Like you got like a deep navy blue going on. So do I. And I guess I could kind of see that. I'm picturing like a brighter blue, which we don't have. Maybe like a blue that's up above Eamon there. Something like that. That would be atrocious, in my opinion. But yeah, who knows? Weird, but not shocking because Christmas, is a very commercialized holiday, as most of them are. So I can see Coca-Cola getting in there and be like, dude, our logo, our can, man, it's Coke. It's red. It's got the red and white. Let's make Santa red and white. We'll sell more Coke, and then we'll make these awesome commercials, and then we'll make a commercial strictly by AI, and we'll get yelled at for it, but everybody will watch it, and they'll think of Coke at the same time. Have you seen that commercial?
I mean, yeah, a few times actually.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, is it a bad commercial? It's not great from a marketing standpoint, in my opinion. It's just there's no real story or theme. It's like, woohoo, it's Christmas time, and we're seeing the trucks rolling and stuff, and it's all made with AI. And it was really, I believe, it was probably more done to see how many people talk about it, like us talking about it right now, and everybody else has been talking about it, really than trying to make a quality commercial. Because if Coke wanted to make an outstanding, amazing, heartwarming commercial, they do it, and they got the money to do it, and they've done it in the past. This was just like, let's see how far we can take it and see how much people will talk about it, and they sure have. So, yeah.
I think the real problem is that AI has been taking over most of the stuff, even the commercials that we've been witnessing, and so far, not up for the hype. I'm sorry. This is back then things were pretty great, but we're not here to talk about that right now.
Nope, that is right. We're not here to talk about AI because it is actually time to end the show.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you, Eamon, for coming in. Appreciate it. Always good chat with you. Thank you for doing the podcast. Absolutely fantabulous. I love it. And we got lots more to do. Lots more. If you haven't checked out Eamon on the podcast, it is The Tales of Hollow Hills. You can find it on YouTube podcasts. Just search The Tale of Hollow Hills. You can find it on Apple iTunes podcasts. Just search The Tales of Hollow Hills. And you can find it on Spotify. Just search The Tales of Hollow Hills. Very easy to find. We send the links out on Facebook. Check it out. It's really good stuff. All the episodes are there, so you can start from the beginning. They're pretty short, too, which is great. So if you don't have a whole lot of time, it's like 10, 15-minute episodes. Great. You can listen to a whole bunch of them all at once, which is nice. Or you can listen to them one-off. Either way. So we got a whole cool new season to go. It's going to get creepier as it goes, by the way. I know you're still reading through them. He's still working on them. But it's going to get creepier. There's some good creepy ones coming up once we get to it. In fact, this week, Friday the 13th in December, special episode they're actually going to record just shortly after this. So, any goodbyes you want to give to anybody?
Well, I just want to say farewell to everyone that's been watching this channel and supporting us and through all of it. Since I've been here as of late, I've been pretty grateful to have these people among me, and to all my family and friends that support me from no matter where you are. I thank you for that, and also for the Christmas spirits. The time of anticipation draws nigh as the dawn dusks to a new age.
Beautiful, and that's why we love his voice. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow, Wednesday, on the morning routine. Take care. You want to throw the card?
Yeah.
There we go. See you guys.
Boom.
Nice.